Well, I'd like to see War Raiders make it up to the main roster to take on Heavy Machinery. I think that'd be a great WrestleMania match. I'd like to see Braun Strowman take on, not Braun Strowman. I'd like to see Bobby Lashley take on Brock Lesnar. I know that's not going to happen this year because he's got to drop the title, but just a match I'd want to see, and I think they should get that match away before Brock Lesnar goes back to UFC. I don't know. This might be the last opportunity to see that match anywhere. Finn Balor, I really, really, really want to see him, rise up in the ranks. I think he deserves it. I think he's a great talent. I think he's a great wrestler. I think he's being very underutilized in WWE right now. And he should have the platform that, hey, if you're not going to use me to the best of my ability, there's always All Elite Wrestling, and I think he'd be a great fit there too. So it's hard to say exactly what's going to happen with him. I'd like to see him at WrestleMania face either an AJ Styles or Daniel Bryan, someone like that, someone a great wrestler, someone for him to work with. There's not a lot of great wrestlers on Raw right now for him to get in the ring and wrestle with. So maybe if they moved AJ or Daniel to Raw, maybe in the shuffle, the shake-up, whatever they're calling it now, after WrestleMania, that might help out things on Raw. SmackDown is probably the better show right now. I think that Raw's got a lot of cleaning up to do. We know Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are headed back from their injuries. That was at least told to us a few weeks ago on Raw, hoping to see them sooner rather than later, as long as they're packaged in a better way than they have been. I mean, I think Kevin Owens is probably going to come back at the next pay-per-view, probably during the Bobby Lashley-Finn Balor match, so he can get a measure of revenge on Lashley. It was Lashley that took him out with injury, storyline-wise. So that's probably going to be when we see Kevin Owens come back. Sami Zayn can come back anytime. I'm hoping they drop the goofy act, let him be a serious wrestler, let him get some victories and build up momentum so that they can build his character back up, because I think they really failed him as a competitor in the WWE after they turned him heel with Kevin Owens. He needed the heel turn at the time, but they just didn't capitalize on it the way they should have after the fact. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of big stuff that should be coming WWE-wise. Let's talk about All Elite Wrestling right now. Joey Ryan appearing on Being the Elite on YouTube, assuming that he is going to sign with All Elite Wrestling. We know Marty Scurll re-signed with Ring of Honor. I don't know if he's going to have a long-term deal or if he'll show up in All Elite Wrestling once that deal is done. Kind of shocking, though, because he's friends with that group, and he chose to stay with Ring of Honor, and that's his prerogative. We'll see what happens on his front coming up. And I'm sure we're going to hear about more signings in the weeks to come, especially leading into May 25th, when they're going to put on Double or Nothing in Vegas. Let's talk locally now, guys. February 9th, big night, 2 shows within travel distance. We have Immortal Championship Wrestling in Amsterdam and New York Championship Wrestling in Whitesboro. So, I mean, fans in Utica might stay and see the Whitesboro show, or they might travel to Amsterdam. It's not that far. Big night for Immortal. They're going to crown their first heavyweight champion. It looks like they're going to do a gauntlet match at the end with some qualifying matches in the beginning. We know Brute Van Slyke, Tyler Vincent, and Robo. Oh, actually, Robo is not going to be there. Robo, the Dynasty champion, was scheduled to be there, but now he is actually booked for the Great Khali's promotion in India, so he'll be traveling to India that weekend. So we won't see Robo at Immortal Championship Wrestling, but we want to wish the best of luck to Robo on his trip in India. Hopefully he makes some noise out there. Robo's a great representative of wrestling in Central New York, and he's going to do us proud in India with the Great Khali's promotion, CWE. On New York Championship Wrestling end of things in Whitesboro, the Stepdads will defend their tag team championships against the Street. This should be an interesting match. The upstart, the Street, they're sort of rookies. They're younger, high-flying, crowd favorites. And so are the Stepdads. They're crowd favorites as well, but they're a little more seasoned. They've been teaming for a long time. They're the tag team champions, so they have the advantage, of course. But the Street probably are going to use their speed, agility, and impressive maneuvers to tackle the Stepdads. So that's going to be a great match, I can tell you right now. We know there's going to be a six-pack challenge with Scotty Arrow, Dante Dio, Kid Curry, one half of the Savage Wolves, and Jacoby Riddick, formerly of Killer Instinct, as well in that match. And we know Riley Shepard is going to defend her newly won women's championship against PJ the Whip Gonzalez, friend of the show. She was a guest on our show not too long ago. She's a great person, and I wish her all the luck in that match. I know there is another women's match signed. I'm going to be honest, I don't remember the names at this moment. I could pause it and research it, but really, I know there was a video promo online of one of the female competitors, but I can't remember her name. I apologize. I'm sure if you go on the New York Championship Wrestling Facebook page, everything is listed right there for you. So going into the next few months for New York Championship Wrestling, we know they're going to be at Accelerate Sports Complex in Whitesboro until their show in April, and then they're going to be in the Clinton Arena, which is a bigger arena, kind of a hockey-sized arena where a lot of hockey games are played. So it's going to be a big night for them. I think they really need to build up storylines and competitors and get the crowds engaged so they can get the people to fill that arena. So we will, of course, wish the best of luck to New York Championship Wrestling. We're big fans of their product, and we know they're going to do great going into April. Wrestletown in Clinton Arena. Other big things coming up in Central New York. Comic-Con's coming up in July at Destiny USA again. We know we're going to hear some wrestling superstars there to sign autographs as usual. I'm sure we'll be hearing some announcements of the wrestlers that are going to appear there signing autographs soon. We know WrestleCon is going to take place in New York City WrestleMania weekend. There's going to be a lot of autograph signings that weekend in New York City for WrestleMania weekend. That's a pretty popular event in New York during WrestleMania weekend. And it travels to wherever WrestleMania is that year. So if you're going to WrestleMania, you got to check out WrestleCon, of course, because you'll meet a lot of legends and superstars and rookies there signing autographs. So if any listeners are going to WrestleCon, if you want to be a contributor to the show, we'd love to have you record some interviews down there if you're able to, and you're going. If you're going for WrestleMania, hit me up on Facebook or Twitter. We're on Instagram now at CNY Wrestles Podcast. And you can always email us at cnywrestlespodcast@gmail.com. Other stuff in the works for the podcast. We are looking into doing a live podcast sometime this summer. We're looking into getting a legend on the show to do a live podcast, Q&A, and meet and greet. Maybe with one of our local promotions. We'll partner with them to do that. We're looking into several different options. So we'll give you more details when that comes up. But we also wanted to do a charity wrestling night as well. So we're looking into a couple different things. Like I said, I've said this before. We're looking to work with local talent that'll travel, talent that we've talked to on the show to come and do a charity show. for the National Kidney Foundation. The Kidney Foundation is important to me and my family because my husband Jimmy in 2015 received a kidney transplant. He was on the list for about 7 years. He was on dialysis for that long. It was kind of a rough time for him. Dialysis isn't comfortable, and to have to do it for that long, it's not. It's just not a great. It's not a great feeling, and it also takes a lot out of you. So anybody who knows anybody with kidney disease knows that it's not fun, and it's not fun to watch your loved ones go through that. Let me tell you. And watching him go through dialysis, being sick all the time, it was a rough time. He got his transplant, and he's doing remarkably well. And anybody on the transplant list, keep your head up because your time will come. But we need organ donors. You need to be an organ donor. Why are you not an organ donor? You're going to be dead. You don't need your organs. So make sure you register to be an organ donor at Donate Life. You can also do it through your driver's license. When you register for your driver's license or you renew it, make sure you're checking the option for organ donation. There's no reason for you not to be. They're not going to take your organs before you're dead, if that's what you're worried about. So, yeah, we're looking into a lot of different things. I would love any of our listeners to join us for the National Kidney Foundation Kidney Walk on April... I'll have to get that date. Hang on just one second. Sunday, April 7th at Destiny USA. The walk starts at 9 o'clock. You can register for our team. It's on the Kidney Walk website. When you register, you got to look for Team Jimmy and join us for the walk on Sunday, April 7th at Destiny USA. If you have questions, you can reach me on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or email, like I said earlier. So, yeah, just, keep an eye out for that. I will remind you guys again before. We were just looking to raise some money for the National Kidney Foundation, and it's a good cause. And, if anyone here has family that has kidney issues, you know how important it is to get out there and raise money for the National Kidney Foundation. So I'm going to wrap things up here for the show. Next show, we're going to have a guest back on the show. I'll let you know who that is during the week. We just want to make sure the recording goes well and our schedules match up. So keep listening to us here on the podcast. You can get us, subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and anywhere else you get your on-demand audio. Make sure you find us on Facebook. Give us a like on Facebook, CNY Wrestles Podcast, and also Instagram and Twitter. And also drop us a line on the email if you need to. It's cnywrestlespodcast@gmail.com. You guys have a good night and a good week, and we'll see you next week here on the show.